All right. All right. Let's see if the sound is working. I'm really hoping it is. It looks like it is. Okay. All right. Yeah. I just heard myself. Okay. Yeah. Already tried to on top of the fact that Liverpool are horrendously bad. I tried to stream just a few moments ago, and on top of the fact that Liverpool are horrendous, my sound wasn't coming through my microphone, and then just to compile onto that just a little bit more, once I got my microphone working, the internet in my house just absolutely went to shit. So brilliant, brilliant little afternoon slash evening to be me. If you've seen the title of the stream, you probably know what this is about. You probably know that I'm referring to Liverpool losing in the Champions League this evening to PSV. One of the most embarrassing performances I've seen from Liverpool in quite some time. Liverpool over, I would say, probably the past couple of weeks to maybe a month or so have gone from being a team that I very much enjoyed watching to a chore. It's terrible. I hate watching Liverpool. And yeah, obviously, if you've seen the title of the stream, you know a big opinion that I have currently is that Arne should be sacked tonight. Tonight, he's got to go. He's got to go. Liverpool have lost 9 out of their last 12 games in all competition. If you were to take the last 12 games Liverpool have played in all competitions, we've lost 9 of them. Not Liverpool have lost a couple, maybe we lost 4, drew 5. No, we've lost 9 games out of the last 12. Hi, Ashley. We have gone from a team that won the Premier League last season to an abysmal watch. One of the worst teams in the Premier League. I'll say that. Right? On current form, Liverpool are one of the worst teams in the Premier League. It's not an opinion. It's a factual matter of the situation. Liverpool's defensively are shocking. Midfield can't really keep possession too well. Offensively, we don't generate any chances. This is not opinion based. This is factual. And I'll be honest with you guys, a big issue that I've had is down to the fact that a lot of the players are underperforming, which is definitely the truth. A lot of Liverpool's players have just been bad in general, just not playing up to the standard that we've had for players that put on that kit in the past. But I also think that a lot of the big name ones have gotten stick, while a lot of other players haven't gotten enough of it. Okay? Milos Kerkez. Young kid. A lot of time left in his Liverpool career. You're shit, son. You've been shit for us. We have gotten to a point where we bought this guy, or a transfer, to try to get him to be a replacement for Andy Robertson. Now, at the current stage Liverpool are in, we cannot play him. We have to play Andy Robertson. We cannot start Kerkez over Andy Robertson. He's a liability. And I think that was reflective of maybe it was the second or the third goal. Well, I believe maybe probably the second goal. The third goal was down to Ibou Konate, player who's been with Liverpool Football Club for quite some time now. Ibou Konate is probably fortunate to the fact that we basically are the only other center back option we had was a young Italian kid. by the name of Leone, who tore his ACL in the first game, a game with which he looked very good in. He's fortunate that he's not available. Or maybe he's not even fortunate that Leone isn't available, because players, for whatever reason, put in shit performances for Arne Slot, and he feels the need to continuously start them. And Ibrahima Konate is one of them. He's been horrendous this season for Liverpool. Horrendous. Not good in the slightest. Today was another reflection of it. And today was a reflection of Virgil van Dijk being poor as well. Didn't play well. I love Virg. I'm sure if you're a Liverpool fan at home, you probably love Virgil van Dijk as well. But a reality of the situation, Virgil was abysmal today. The penalty he gave away, I mean, I don't even know what that was, if I'm being real. Like, you give away a penalty just by putting your hand up in the... Like, what defender at any sort of level, let alone a player who is the captain of a Premier League side, Premier League champions, jumps in the air when a cross comes in with your arm up like this? And then Virgil van Dijk, like I said, I love Virg, has the gall to then complain to the referee as if he was fouled or something like that. Virgil, you were in our own box acting as though you were... Scott said, Slot is a twat that needs to be sacked and Salah needs to be benched. This is what I love about my chat thing, is that didn't even show up in the chat, but it'll show up on my stream because I have this. First part of that, I definitely agree. Slot needs to be sacked. But the problem is that I have with the second part with Salah, Scott. I do agree with you. He does need to be dropped, but why? It's like, why is Slot not dropping him? Like, why is Slot not dropping Salah to the bench? Hasn't been performing well. Players over years and years have come and gone through Liverpool Football Club where they go through patches where they're not playing well. Salah's been brilliant for Liverpool over years now at this point, but for whatever reason, our manager just starts him week in, week out. We're gonna just keep starting a player who clearly is not playing at his best, and yeah, it's abysmal. It's embarrassing. For those of you who maybe are just joining the stream now, I did say earlier, we've lost 9 out of our last 12 games. Scott said, scared of the big names in the dressing room. Yeah. Solomon said, sacked. Scott, I do. Solomon, I definitely agree. He needs to be sacked. Scott, I do think that might be a part of it, that he's scared of the big names in the dressing room. We've seen it in the past where Mohamed Salah, when he gets dropped, has like damn near temper tantrums. I remember specifically when he had a freak out with Jurgen Klopp on the sideline. I forget what game that was in, but it was Klopp's last season, and for whatever reason he got dropped to the bench, and then ultimately he had a complete and utter freak out and got into words with Klopp on the bench, or when he was about to get subbed on, waited for him to get into a position to where, you know that the cameras are going to see you, and you have an issue with the manager in front of everyone where the cameras are going to see you. Bullshit. And I love Salah, but, sometimes, let's be honest, he can be a crybaby. And that was an instance that I just referenced. If he's scared of the big names, then you shouldn't be manager of Liverpool Football Club. You need to be the one making the tough decisions. Because right now, you look like an absolute ass, and there's a solid chance that you lose your job because you're scared of the big names. That's the way I look at it. Like, if you are truthfully scared of the big names, well, maybe you're not the manager for Liverpool Football Club. Because you think Pep Guardiola is scared of the big names? Do you think Mikel Arteta? I'll go that far. Do you think Mikel Arteta is scared of the big names? Let's be frank here as Liverpool fans, okay? A lot of us looked for an opportunity after we won the Premier League to chat shit about Arsenal as much as we could, put them down as much as we could. I'm here to say Arsenal are the best team in the world right now. Liverpool fans might not like it. City fans, damn near Premier League fans in general might not like that fact. Arsenal are the best team in the world currently. Arteta is 5 times the manager Arne Slot is. Let's be abundantly clear. Arne Slot won a Premier League last season. That is not an easy thing to do. I am not going to discredit that accomplishment that he had, especially as a manager who's coming in his debut season to win the Premier League. That's very, very difficult. But people in the media and online and anywhere you could chat about football, they're ignoring the facts of the matter. Arne Slot won a Premier League last season because Pep Guardiola and Manchester City had a completely off year. And the same thing with Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. Arsenal had a lot of injuries last season, which was a big resulting factor for why they did not play up to their standard. And now we're seeing a healthier Arsenal. I can't even say a completely healthy Arsenal. Because, mind you, they picked up that result against Bayern Munich tonight with their best center back out hurt. Gabriel's out hurt. Going to be sidelined for a couple months now at this point. So, Scott said, the players have clearly lost trust in his style of play. As well, Arteta has never been backed down from doing what needs to be done. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. No, I think, and Scott, what you said about the style of play, I put out a video, I believe, yesterday on my channel, and I was talking about it, and the style of football that we play now versus under Klopp, or even last year, is completely different. When we played under Klopp, we had the heavy metal style of football. High press from our front three, really putting a lot of pressure on the defenders in the back four of the opponent. We had players that if we won the ball back, the first inclination was to get the ball to our wingers or out wide in space and let them run at defenders, get into chances to where we can make the defenders make mistakes. Now what we play, and we saw kind of almost a hybrid of that last season in Slot's first year, because we still had Mo Salah, who had a brilliant season playing like how he used to. We had Luis Diaz, who was that atypical Liverpool-style winger, very pacey, will pick the ball up, run at defenders. To now, we have a style of football to where we pick up possession, and we're like, every single time, let's build out of the back, maintain possession in the midfield, get it out to our wingers. And there is no urgency. There's no pace to it. We get the ball out to them, and we allow the opposing defenders to set in. I was watching the game tonight. How many times did PSV get into a situation to where they're defending Liverpool with 10 men behind the ball? Or 10 men in their box. And then we get it out to our wingers, and it's like, you know what? Let's put in a cross right now, and we'll bitch online about how Alexander Isak wasn't able to do anything with it. Like, I for the life of me don't understand it. We picked up both Isak and Ekitike, two players who are very, very good picking the ball up in space, running at defenders, or very, very good players in transition to where if we win the ball at the back, if we were to put in a long ball to them, very, very good in that sense. But I'll tell you what, you know who's not good in that sense? Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo, who we played more than we've ever seen Gakpo play at Liverpool previously. Aniverse said, I feel bad for the new players. I completely agree, man. Completely agree. The only one I would say I don't feel, Kirkes hasn't been up to the pace. Kirkes has been poor. Eniver said, Slot don't know how to use the players he bought. Completely agree. Completely agree. We're playing a completely different style of football. And it's not working. We're not just, for whatever reason, we're not using. He's saying he doesn't know how to use the players he bought. I completely agree. And if you look at the type of players that we bought, these sorts of players would have excelled in the Jurgen Klopp era. They would have been brilliant in the Jurgen Klopp era. They're quick players who are very good in transition, very good in open space, but we're not using them like that. We're using them to, every single time we try to build out of the back, and we're getting ourselves into positions to where then the defenders are able to get set every single time. The amount of times I watch Liverpool play and I see our opponent able to get set when we have the ball in the attacking third, it's one of the most frustrating things I've ever seen before. Why do we continuously do this? Week in, week out. I don't understand it. I really don't, guys. And I do agree with what Eniver said. I do feel bad for the new players. I do. And yeah, I think like a large part of it is that a lot of blame will be put on the players. Rightfully so. Tonight's game, if there's criticism towards Virgil, very much deserved. If there's criticism towards Kanate, very much deserved. Kirkes, of course. Tonight was a game, though, that I have to say I really don't. I don't blame the front three as much. I don't think that Eniver said we don't even have trademark build-up play. No, we don't. We have lackadaisical build-up play. Lackadaisical build-up play. It's all unbelievably predictable. And it allows, you have to think we're playing teams that obviously, like PSV knows that they're the weaker team, so they know they have to get 10 men behind the ball. So Scott says Slot clearly doesn't have the man management Klopp did. Teams feared coming to Anfield. Now they come rubbing their hands. Scott, 100% right. 100% right, man. I really do believe that the man management style of Slot is not the same. It's very clear that is one thing that Jurgen Klopp always preached. And you know what it is? No identity. Completely agree. And you know what it is too? You say no identity. I was talking about before about the style of football that Jurgen Klopp was always known for, the high press, the style of football that you get the ball, you're trying to get it quickly up the pitch, get possession and get in transition. There's no identity for Liverpool to do that anymore, and then also too on top of that, there's no pace of it. There's no urgency of the way Liverpool will play. It's crazy. Nick Wadia said Klopp back, so I'm glad you said that, Nick, because kind of transitions into one of the other topics I want. Of course, as Liverpool fans, right? Jurgen Klopp is the most ideal person that you want to come back to the club. The reality is, how likely is that? I really don't know, guys. I like the fact that he left the club was so shocking to me. I know there was that interview where he said, there is a chance that he could come back to Liverpool, and that kind of got clipped and put everywhere online. But if you really watched the interview, it was kind of like, maybe I'll come back to Liverpool for sure, but like I wouldn't count on it. I kind of like where I am in life. I like what I do. And for that reason, I think the likelihood that we see Jurgen Klopp back at Liverpool is fairly unlikely. I'll be real. Like I'm on my TikTok right now, and we're seeing people say, like a guy commented on my most recent post, and so he said hashtag keep Arne Slot. Rival fans want him at that. That is the mark of like when your manager is just like past the point of no return. Is that when rival fans are trolling you, telling you that we should keep Slot. We should keep our manager because that's in the benefit of rival teams. But yeah, I mean, Klopp obviously would be, if Jurgen Klopp is willing to come back to Liverpool. Of course, he would be the number one choice for 99% of Liverpool fans. But now this is an interesting one that Scott just said. Don't rule out Steven Gerrard. At a certain point, and this is why I want Klopp to come back. But if Klopp comes back, he's going to be picking up a team that is shit. Right? We're awful. Klopp is one of the best managers the Premier League has ever seen, but how certain are we that even Jurgen Klopp can turn this around? I'm not doubting that there would be improvement, but we're out of the Premier League title race. We're out of the Carabao Cup. And there is a chance, obviously, that we can continue into the Champions League. I don't think that the loss tonight rules us entirely out of the Champions League. But, obviously, when you get to the later rounds of the Champions League, you're going to be facing tough competition. Even last year when we saw Liverpool playing well, we lost to PSG. So there's a lot more that goes into that. I am looking at this season like, is this season just a wash in general? But at the same time, I don't want to say it's just a wash in general, because we should be focusing on getting Champions League football. Now, what Scott said, don't rule out Gerrard. I've seen Ange Postecoglou as a rumor. Would we prefer Ange or Gerrard? Both are risky at this point in time. But what we've seen from Ange is Ange do well in cup competitions, and we've seen Gerrard with Rangers do very well in the league format. And Averse said, what we need to do is play 4-4-2, diamond, 2 center backs attacking, Frimpong and Kirkes fullbacks, 2 center defensive midfielders, Jones and Gravenberch, and Soboslai box to box, Verts 10, and Isak and Ekatike up top. So you have our 2 center backs, I'm assuming, would be Virgil and Konate, even though Konate's terrible. Frimpong and Kirkes going up and down. But the problem is Frimpong is so... We have 2 right backs right now that are so unbelievably injury prone that we're having to play Dominic Soboslai at right back. It's like 2 center holding... What'd you say? 2 holding midfielders, Jones and Grav. Soboslai box and box, Verts 10. I could see what you're saying. The only problem is with that formation and versus the only issue I have with it, I'm not saying you're necessarily wrong, is that would leave a lot of open space out wide for us, which I'm assuming those 2 holding midfielders would kind of stretch, but within that leave holes in the midfield. I don't hate it. Anniverse. I don't hate what you were saying, but I do think that at a certain point we have to worry about conceding goals, which we're doing at a rapid pace right now. And I think that formation could help with that. Scott said, the thing you get from Gerrard is a deep love for the club and a person that would be willing to make the tough choices that Slot clearly won't. And then Anniverse said, fair enough. I do like that, Scott, and especially what we were talking about, the fact that there is a concern that Slot is not making the tough decisions like dropping Mo Salah. Mo Salah having to look at Steven Gerrard. What are you going to say? It's one of the 2 of the best players that I've ever played for Liverpool. So if Gerrard makes that decision, you can't get mad at him. The thing. I apologize if I'm not saying your name right. Eliud said the pressing is very inconsistent. I do agree. It's extremely inconsistent. I've been talking about that in the stream. It's just not like what we used to play. Aniverse said we're just ass. It's annoying. Completely agree. I literally, at Aniverse, my last video that I made yesterday is, I think the title of it is The Reality of Liverpool Being Cheeks. because we are. We're ass cheeks. Now, going back to what Scott said about Jared coming in as manager, I don't hate it, Scott. I think Semi Sunshine said heard a swap between Slot and Moyes is on the cards. Yeah, the Evertonians will not like that. The thing about Jared coming in as manager is, yeah, I agree. It will help with the morale at Liverpool, which is clearly an issue. You watched the team that played tonight. There's clearly an issue with morale with these players. These players are not in a good way at the club, and I think one of the biggest reflections of that was Virgil van Dijk. You know, I saw someone say after the he gave away the penalty that people were like, even Van Dijk is Slot out. So I do want to just say to you guys, I appreciate you guys. Keep typing in the chat. But I do have a link to my SpeakPipe down below in the description that if you want, you could leave a voicemail for me and I'll play it live on stream. Just let me know in the chat if you do that so I can go over and check it. Also, too, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I make weekly and daily football content. Yeah, heard a swap deal, but it was Semi Sunshine said heard a swap deal between Slot and Moyes is on the cards. Is it bad that I might take that at this point? I don't know though. When we saw Moisey at United, he wasn't that great. And Verse said Slot or Van Dijk is definitely Slot out. You have to question what the mindset is with a lot of these players, because a lot of them I believe like had a very good relationship with Slot. I don't think that that's as much the case anymore. Just the run of form has been concerning. It's you could see a lot of concern from these Liverpool players, just putting it bluntly. But again, like you can't even blame them if they want to change at the manager position, because. You're like I said, losing 9 games through 12 in all competitions, not drawing, not like even like someone nicked a late goal on us like the Crystal Palace game earlier in the season. We got bodied by PSV tonight. What are we doing? What are we doing? Why is PSV absolutely bodying us? Makes no sense. Scott said, I think most of the senior players have lost faith. I do agree, Scott, especially because when you look at these senior players, the Van Dijks, the Robertsons, the Salahs, even if you want to go back to like Dominic Szoboszlai, who's a little bit more of in a leadership position at the club, the style of play that they used to play at Liverpool compared to now is completely different. So I don't blame them for losing faith because there's a reason to. Aniverse said, "What's concerning is not the result but performances. If we had good performances and lost, we would say give Slot time. That's my big thing. That's 110%. Like, look at the performances against Forest." Look at the performance today against PSV. You know, guys, it's not like it's not like we're in positions to where these players or this team is playing well, generating really good opportunities, playing in a really, really good system. We're seeing this team put in really bad performances. Forest were better than us at the weekend. PSV were better than us today. Don't get me wrong. There were patches in both games to where Liverpool were maybe the better team for 15 minutes, but if you want to take the game at whole, not even remotely. And what they're doing is they're getting 10 men behind the ball when Liverpool have possession in the attacking third. Then when they win possession, they're looking to counter on Liverpool. And because we have players like Kirkes, Kanate, and even Van Dijk, as of recent, making mistakes, they're looking at us like we're food. They're looking at us like it's opportunities for us or for them to take advantage of a weak Liverpool side, which we are currently. So it's not, you know. Sometimes I look at it and I'm like, it's not rocket science, you know. And random Elliot said, each game week I tell myself that I will give the team a new chance and be positive. Oh, it looks like he deleted it. Maybe he. I'll wait to answer that because you might want to resend one in random. Anverse said, they know we can't stop the counterattacks. That's why Crystal Palace win every time. Yep. And we don't try. There's never any urgency when we win possession of the ball. Never any urgency. We don't have players high up the pitch in dangerous positions. There's no urgency. None. You know? It's really really concerning. It's unfortunate for sure. I don't love to see my club in this manner, in this way. And I don't see a change other than sacking the manager. I really don't. Sorry, I just messed up my camera here. It looks really crooked. Yeah, I don't see any way back other than sacking the manager and making a transition. There's another one. Scott said, any players being linked to moves to Liverpool in the transfer windows will be thinking twice. Okay, but let's if you guys in the chat and let me know in the chat or call into the speak pipe, what areas of the pitch do you guys think we need to improve on? I definitely think we need to get another left back. If Robertson might be leaving in the summer, I know that's been something that's been talked about. If that's the case, we definitely need to get a left back because I don't know about this Kirkes. Probably need to get a right back. Midfield-wise, I'm not too concerned. The guys that we have in midfield, even if they haven't been playing fantastic, we know the type of players they are and that they could be good. But Eniverse said, Slot glazes PSG, but we are nowhere near near what PSG plays like. I agree, for sure. Yeah, nowhere near PSG. PSG is one of the best teams in the world. We're not even one of the best teams in the league. Going back to what Scott said, any players being linked to Liverpool, I think what Random Elliot said, each game week I've been telling myself that I'll give the team a new chance and be positive for a better game, but similar mistakes keep on stacking game after game. It's like Groundhog Day. I feel like I'm watching the same thing over and over each and every week. I completely agree. And I'll be honest with you, Elliot, I would almost say that you're in, and I'm sure maybe your mindset's going to change going forward if we keep Slot, but you've almost have a better mindset than I do, because I'm at the point I went into this game, I had no confidence. I didn't even care. I was like, we're going to play like shit and we're going to either scrape out a win. A win almost would have been terrible today because it would have been like, oh, well, like Slot's turning it around. They would have shifted the narrative. At least with a loss, people are saying he's got to go. Scott said we need a center back, left back, and right winger. Yeah, I would. So I like both of our right backs, actually. I know Frimpong's gotten a lot of criticism, but like the guy's hurt. What's he supposed to do? But I like Frimpong and I like Connor Bradley. The problem is that both have been quite injury prone. Connor Bradley's been injury prone for since he's broken to the first team, and then Frimpong has been injury prone since we signed him. So that might be an area that I would like for him to fit in. I also, watching Frimpong, we played him at right wing, so I've also wondered if maybe that's like an area that Liverpool have wanted to fit him in. Center back is the big one. I've seen some people talk about that Gahey will be coming to Liverpool at the end when his contract expires after the summer. Tukaram Boyle said, what manager to bring in? Scott said, I rate Ramsey too. Managers to bring in, that is a huge issue. Tukaram, Gerrard got thrown out there. That's really risky. But for morale, that would be good. Ange Postecoglou has been linked with the club. Don't know if that's like the right decision. like if we brought in Ange and we were just kind of like, you have until the end of the season or we're gonna sack you. I mean, it could be entertaining. Like, at least if Ange came in, it would be like entertaining. There would be some sort of vibe to the club, but like there's no vibe to Liverpool Football Club right now. There's no good morale. There's no feel good about watching this team. It's shit. Ediver said, I don't want Ange. Nobody does. But what other manager? So, like, there's also, like, I know that, obviously, Xabi Alonso's been brilliant with Real Madrid, but there's been rumors that they would want to get rid of him due to morale issues with the team and stuff like that. I would love if Xabi Alonso came in. I think that's unlikely. The problem with sacking managers mid-season is your options for managers are so low. And going back to what Tukaran Boyle said, what manager do you bring in? Everyone would want Klopp to come in, but I don't know. I don't know if that'll be the case. Scott said, if Slot gets sacked, I think the only thing the heads at the top will do is bring in an interim manager. I think that's probably the most realistic answer, especially if we can't find a replacement that we want for long term. I don't know who that interim manager would be. Maybe that would be Gerrard in a sense. And then, because Gerrard's managerial career hasn't been great, if he comes in as an interim manager and has some level of success, maybe that can spark his managerial career and he can go elsewhere. As someone who grew up watching Gerrard, he's my favorite player to ever play for the club. If Gerrard comes in and Liverpool remain a dumpster fire, it would kill me that people would then point the finger at Gerrard. Liverpool are like a dumpster fire that someone needs to crawl out of right now. And I look at Klopp, Gerrard, even to a certain extent, to where I'm like, I don't want them to get any sort of criticism or have any sort of failures if they're not successful. Only me from over the sea, just said LOL. I don't know what you're laughing at. You're probably just laughing at Liverpool, probably a rival fan, but welcome to the chat, man. Yeah. Thank you to whoever has been subscribing as well. It looks like we picked up 3 subscribers so far this stream. Scott rejected that message. We'll come back to it. Elliot said, I think we just need a proven center back for rotation because I think Ramsey, Bajcetic, and Chiesa are class and can boost team strength, morale, and energy. Yeah, but that's another thing. It's why haven't we seen Bajcetic play at all? I don't get it. Chiesa needs to get a start, for God's sakes. That's been a big issue that I've had with Slot. Is that we've just basically just never given Federico Chiesa any sort of chance at the club. It's come on. Not Brett May, just put a bunch of laughing emojis. I'm assuming that's just at Liverpool. Good one. Nice laughing emojis, pal. Sometimes, I just have things I want to say, but I'm on stream. Scott said, I think like most Liverpool fans, Slot needs the sack, but hand on heart, I don't think they will sack him. I don't think that they will either. And a big reason I don't think that they will, Scott, to be honest with you, is I just don't think that they have a replacement. Boyle said lack of rotation from slot is painful, to be fair. Yeah, why aren't we getting... Who can honestly tell me that Federico Chiesa has not earned an opportunity to get a start for Liverpool Football Club? Nobody. He's definitely earned an opportunity, and it just hasn't been given to him. It's insane. Scott's saying hand on heart, he doesn't think they'll sack him. I don't think that they'll sack him either. I don't. Because, going back, not a lot of... Arne needs to go. He's stubborn and improved it today. He made one change. Completely agree, Nikita. Completely agree. Yeah, I don't think we'll sack him, though, because I think I think they'll just be like, who do we bring in? And he won the Premier League. Like, that's what they're going to look at. Like, this is a manager who has won the Premier League. He's successful. We don't have a replacement for him. Because going back to what you said, Scott, I don't think... we got a bunch of chats coming in here. Scott said, Chiesa and Rio both benched talent, 100%. I don't know why we're not seeing more of Rio, especially after the goal he scored against Newcastle late. Elliot said, belief needs to be reintroduced because for most teams, you see that players can die for the team so that the game plan can be successful. I rate Ernesto Valverde for the managerial position. I do... Ninka, I think I called you Nikita earlier, my bad. Too risky to sack right now, I agree. Lewis Jones said Endo should play ahead of Konate. Don't hate that idea, Lewis, because Konate's just been so poor, and we're just subbing him all the time. Going back to what you said, Elliot, I agree. I think that a big issue for Liverpool currently is the morale situation. There's clearly no morale. You can see it in the captain, Virgil van Dijk, that we're just not... There's no positive morale at the club with the team, and you don't with no urgency out there from how they're playing. You don't get the feeling that it's like I will die for this team. I will die for this club. It's just like we lost another week. Whatever, we move on. Like it's shit. It's shit. The decisions that he's made have just been poor. I want to see him go, but I do agree with kind of the mindset that a lot of you have been chatting down below is that I don't think he'll get sacked because I don't think that there is a clear and obvious replacement. I don't think Klopp is going to come back, and for that reason, I think that that's going to be the primary reason for why the heads of the club don't sack him. If you don't have a replacement for him, if you're only going to bring in, like, as an interim manager, better, Ninka said, not gonna lie, Valverde is a fraud. He was mid at Barca and a serial bottler in European big games. He got sacked by Barca mid-season for a reason. Ooh, Elliot, do you have a response to that? Aniver said, Slot definitely has to be gambling and putting his money on Liverpool losing. I don't think so. I don't think so. Because, the players, it's the system. It's not, it's just, the players look too dejected. That's funny, Aniverse. That is very funny. Yeah. Maybe Valverde, I don't know, though. I don't know if he's the... And guys, again, I do want to say the speak pipe is down below in the description of the video, so if you want to call into the stream and leave me a message that I'll play live, please go ahead and do so. Otherwise, just keep going in the chat. But I did just want to reiterate that is an option. Ninka said, we've had 2 breaks for Arne to sort out his tactics, and it's just the same old story. Completely agree. That's the thing is, like, an international break is an opportunity for these teams to kind of, if you're in a bad form, get a little opportunity to sort things out. We don't see that. Do you reckon Areola from Bournemouth would come? Ooh, that is one, Boyle, I would like. I like Areola. I think he's a top manager. He's done brilliant at Bournemouth. But do I reckon he'll leave at this point in the season? I don't know. I really don't. Do you actually think he will get sacked? 100 honesty. FSG don't have the balls. I don't. Well, we were talking about it a little bit. Bull McBrecken. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. We were talking about it a little bit before. 100% honesty. I don't think he'll get the sack because I don't think there's a clear and obvious replacement for him. Going back to, I don't know how old a lot of you are in the chat and stuff like that. Going back to the Brendan Rodgers sacking, you can't tell me that Liverpool didn't know that we had Klopp lined up for the position when Rodgers left the club. That typically is how a lot of these teams manage, is that they'll have a replacement lined up and they will already know that the person is interested in the position, and then they will make a decision to sack the manager. I don't think Liverpool have anyone lined up. We were talking a little bit earlier that an interim manager could be a potential option. I don't know who would be a good interim manager other than, like, let's say Steven Gerrard, who we mentioned. I don't think Klopp is going to come back. I think if Klopp was to come back, it would be at the end of the season for next season. And I don't blame him, but yeah. Ninka said, depends on if Bournemouth get European football, in my opinion. If he gets Europe, he'll probably stay and ride out with Bournemouth. I don't think so. Well, it also depends on if Liverpool... Ashley said, sack the wanker. It also depends if Liverpool get European football as well. Bull said, if there was a new Klopp out there right now, would he be sacked? So Bull, what you're saying is if we had, like, I used the Rodgers to Klopp comparison. If we, like, let's say Areola was the new Klopp, right? And Liverpool had already had contact and he was like, I will come to the club tomorrow. Would he be sacked? No. I don't think it's at the point yet. But it's close, Bull. I'll say that. I think it's a lot closer than people might realize. I think I would say I don't think he's going to get sacked. Just put that out there. I think 75% of the reason that Liverpool won't sack him is because I don't think that they have anyone lined up for him. The 25% reason of that for why I don't think he'll get sacked is they might regret the decision. But if they had someone lined up, maybe, but I would say probably not. If they had someone lined up, I still don't think they... If they had someone that they were like, they're interested in the job, unless it was someone crazy, like, right, like, if it was Klopp again, Bull said 4-0 loss to West Ham will do it. The more he keeps losing, the more likely it is that he gets sacked. I think that this loss today, though, is the turning point for... I think the Forest game over the weekend and then this game, I think, are like the two results that it's like most Liverpool fans are like, he's got to go. Like, you can't lose 9 out of 12 and keep your job. You haven't done enough that we could even rationalize that. If we lose the next 2 games, Slot will 100% get the boot. Next 2 games are games we should win. So if we don't, he has to go. I agree. I think if we lose this weekend, he's going to get sacked. If we lose this weekend like 4-0. If we were to lose the weekend and it's like 3-2, but we're in it. If we lose like 4-0 after 3-0 to Forest and then 4-1 to PSV, if we get the shit kicked out of us by West Ham, he's gonna go. He's got to go, blood. Honestly, that's my mindset. Honestly and truthfully. Yeah, I think that's just what it comes down to. So, yeah. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I appreciate all you guys that have liked the video and subscribed to the channel. It is more than you probably even know. I really, really do appreciate it. It looks like we got a couple subscribers this stream. 4 subscribers from this stream. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, make sure you guys follow me on all my socials too. They're down below in the description. Twitter, TikTok. TikTok I've been doing quite well. I had a video go off from yesterday for 268,000. It's currently sitting at, so that's pretty cool. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers. I really don't even believe it. It's really 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 fun. Really really cool to see too. That I'm currently 69, great number, 69 subscribers away from 1,000. That's super super cool. But let me know what other topics you guys have in the chat. Get in the speak pipe, leave a voicemail. Let me know. I'll play it live on stream if you want your voice heard. Some people like it, some people don't. I like it. I wish I had, and if anyone knows of this, I wish I had an option to where I could have someone actually call in live, but I definitely don't know how to do that, and I've tried to look into that, but can't really figure it out. Any other topics, guys? Let me know down below in the chat. I think let me go. I made a couple notes for this stream. I mean, we've been going for close to an hour now at this point. You'd hope to think that I hit on all of, yeah, I did. All of the notes that I had for the stream. Scott A said, at this rate, there won't be any European football next season. They need to sack him, but FSG won't without a big name manager on board. And all of the big names are taken. Yeah. I agree. I completely agree. Unless we get in, like, Scott, we talked about those potential interim manager, whether that be Klopp, Stevie, but at this rate, European football is just, and it's not even like multiple. Boyle said, "How does Slot change this?" I'll tell you how he changes it. Boyle, go back to our old style of football. That's it. Go back to trying to be quick in transition, get the ball quickly to our wingers who are pacey, into positions, put balls into space for players to run onto, drop players that are not performing well. Mo Salah, Ibo Konate, Milos Kerkez. It's not personal. It's nothing against these guys. but it's just what you need to do if you're a top manager at this level. You need to drop guys who are not performing well enough. That needs to happen, and you need to be good in transition. Honestly, like Liverpool used to be so quick on the. I don't even want to call it the counter, the transition, not letting our opponents get set defensively, and we were able to counter and punish them in transition. We don't do that anymore. In transition, we're very slow, lethargic, no urgency, and we're not generating chances that we used to. And I think a large blame of it is going on the likes of Salah, Isak. But think back the past month. Who in our front three, what out of our attacking options, who out of them have been generating world-class opportunities like the old Liverpool used to? None of them. And it's because in transition, we're just not good enough. We're not quick enough. We used to run at teams at 100,000 miles an hour. We don't do that anymore. We don't. We build up slowly. We allow defenses to get set, and it hurts us. It doesn't provide the opportunities that we used to. And I'm sure a lot of you know this, but Scott said Klopp won't take over mid-season, or if at all. I agree. I don't think so. I'm hopeful. We Liverpool's manager necessarily isn't always the guy that makes the signings or the decisions to sign players. It's the Michael Edwardses, the Richard Hughes. The people behind the scenes are a lot of the times the people that make the decisions on who Liverpool should buy. And if you look at a lot of the talent that Liverpool brought in over this past summer transfer window, they're players that are very good in transition. Isak, Ekitike. Kirkes was always a very forward-running left back. Obviously, the same thing with Frimpong. They're a style of player from Liverpool old, and look at today when Isak came on. Did we ever see a ball get put into Isak running into space at all? No. What we saw is Liverpool get the ball out wide, allow PSV to get their defenders back and set, and Isak would be camped out in the box, hoping that an opportunity would come to it and he could shoot it. Think about Isak's goal against Liverpool at St. James's Park about 2 years ago. I think it was the year Van Dijk got sent off. Isak picked that ball up in space, ran at Van Dijk, and buried a ball top bins from in transition. Boyle said, yeah, I feel like a big shift and change in many different aspects like rotation, maybe formation, game plan needs to be made, and the defense needs to stay tight so our attackers can have more confidence. Bingo, Boyle. You're on the money, brother. It's not sometimes it's not rocket science when it comes to Liverpool. It's looking at what's always been the case with the club and always been what got us to be successful. And yeah. Scott said, since Mane, Bobby, and Salah, there has been a slow decline in the attack. Konate and Virgil clearly don't buy into this style or a player, neither does Salah or Robbo, and it shows when interviewed. Completely agree. Now, when, rest in peace, Diogo Jota was a very similar style of player to Salah, Mane. We haven't really seen a player like Bobby Firmino come into the club, but I think that's almost, a once-in-a-lifetime player. But Jota was definitely a similar type of player. Luis Diaz, very similar type of player. Even Darwin Núñez at a certain point was if he was successful, he would be successful in space, running, in transition, to try to generate chances. But what we're doing is, Cody Gakpo is a player who likes the ball at his feet and running at a player. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's why I think if you look at the front three, he's probably been our attacking option that's had the most success so far this season, just because the style of football that Liverpool have been playing has suited a guy like Gakpo more than it suited a guy like Salah, Isak, even Ekitike. Ekitike hasn't been since the Leverkusen game when he, not Leverkusen, Frankfurt game. He really has not been the same player. That's just my opinion, man. I am sticking to it. All right, so let me know. Let's get a couple more chats in here. Maybe a speak pipe or two. Probably not going to get them though. Obviously, subscribe to the channel, like the video as well. Boyle said, I think Jota loss and Diaz were massive losses. Then we had to buy random players that haven't fitted and aren't in form. Yeah, they're just massive losses to the team. Selling Diaz was a huge mistake from Liverpool, in my opinion. I've been on the record. One of my biggest videos that I've had in the past 2 months was a video about how I think selling Diaz was a terrible decision. It's reflective on how successful he's been with Bayern. And Jota was a player that was irreplaceable, man. Rest in peace. You know, it's nothing more than a tragedy. You know, but from a football perspective, is what a player, man. What a player that you know, big moment player. Really a talented guy. Boyle said, I absolutely agree, but he wanted to go. What to do? My thing with that is he wanted to go because Liverpool weren't going to pay him. That's my thing about it. I'll be real. I think Liverpool weren't going to pay him. The video I had broke down that comparatively to other players that were at the club, Diaz was making a lot less money. I think Bayern threw the book at him financially. Liverpool weren't prepared to do that, and I think a big reason was Isak. Ashley said, who would come in as interim manager if Slot is canned? We've been talking about it a little bit. So Gerrard. That's who it might be. I honestly, as like it's such a biased perspective for me because I'm like, dude, like I love Steven Gerrard. Like he's my favorite footballer of all time. And I would love if he was the interim manager. Scott said this has been our worst run of form in 72 years, and I totally agree. Diaz should have never been sold. Yeah. One of our worst decisions ever, Scott. One of our worst we've ever made as a club. But, guys, this has been brilliant. Thank you very much. Like, comment, subscribe. Click the notification bell as well. I'll give a couple of shout-outs before I end the stream. Shout out Scott. Thank you for joining along with the stream today and chatting with me, man. I really do appreciate it. Shout out Ashley. Before I leave, Paul said, I am from Liverpool. The word is that Slot has resigned and is starting a men's hair salon on Breck Road. Paul, that ain't fair, bro, because you... At first, I thought that was a real chat. Good man, Paul. That was good. I'm glad we can end the chat. So, yes. Shout out to Scott. Shout out to Ashley. Shout out to Paul. Oh, we got another one. Ado Footy said, Hi, Limo. Great show. I'm not giving up on Slot yet. He won us our 20th title, and I cannot forget that. Let's see this storm through and go again. Love from Era. Ado, love that, brother. Well, Ado, you have to let me know what part of Ireland you're from. 1 second, guys. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, I just want to give a shout out to everyone. Shout out to Scott again. Shout out to Aniverse. Shout out to Elliot as well for joining along with us. Anyone else? Shout out to Ninka. Shout out Lewis Jones. Scott said, thanks for another great stream. Looking forward to the next. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. Paul said there's a severe flooding in Liverpool because the Evertonians are pissing themselves laughing. All right. Well, Paul, thank you for actually making me laugh about this entire situation. Big up to Ado Footy as well. Big up to the chat. Thank you, guys. I will see all of you on the next stream. Appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that jazz. Thanks, guys.